Bitches text 7 guys, chill with 4, go on dates with 2, and smash in 1. But call me a hoe because I like pictures on Instagram.
A deadly shooting outside of a Domino's pizza in Normandy is under investigation. Police have not yet released details about the victim, but family members tell Fox 2's Kelly Hoskins he was a Domino's delivery driver and a father of 2.
A pizza sign glowing against the dark. Garlic bread smell through a propped open door. A lot that looks like 100 others across this country tonight. Nothing here says anything is about to go wrong. Then the gunfire starts. Not one shot. Several, fast, one after another. A sound that has no business existing next to a pizza shop on an ordinary weekday night. A man drops between 2 parked cars. He doesn't get back up. Employees inside keep working for a second, because that sound doesn't compute in a place like this. Then someone looks out the window. By the time anyone reaches him, it's already over. Nobody watching this yet knows his name. They don't know he spent his days teaching kids the school system had quietly given up on, or that he was 2 months from a job that would have changed everything for his family. Right now, they just know a man is lying outside a Domino's, and he's not moving. Here's what nobody in that lot knew that night. This wasn't even supposed to be his job much longer. He wasn't some kid picking up shifts for gas money. He had a full-time position waiting for him, one he'd worked years toward, set to start in weeks. This delivery job was temporary, a bridge, something to get his family through summer until the real paycheck kicked in. He almost made it. So here's the question I want you sitting with. What is it about jobs like this, jobs millions of people clock into every day, that ends up being dangerous enough to take someone's life? Stay to the end. There's a safety detail in here that could genuinely matter. If you, or somebody you love, ever works a job that puts them alone in a lot after dark, it's easy to overlook. That's part of how this happened. Quick question before we go on. Have you ever taken a second job just to make ends meet? That feeling of stacking one more shift onto an already full life, because the first job wasn't covering it. If that's you, or somebody in your family, you'll want to hear this all the way through. Drop a like if you're still with me, and let's get into what happened. Welcome to True Crime Footprint, where we unveil the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime tales. Kindly hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our new stories. Your support keeps these stories alive. Before any of this, before the parking lot, before the sirens, he was just Domo to almost everyone who knew him. At Hamilton Elementary, he worked as a special education aide, the guy who showed up for kids other adults sometimes gave up on too easily. He didn't just supervise, he sat with them, pushed them, told them they mattered on days nobody else did. He was doing all of this while still in school himself, working toward the credentials that would let him lead his own classroom instead of assisting in someone else's. That work paid off. Hazelwood School District had already hired him. He was set to start in August, weeks away from a job he had spent years building toward. At home, Jaira Willis had been his partner for over a decade. Together, they had an 8-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son, and Jaira was pregnant with their 3rd child. A family expanding right as his career was finally about to catch up with everything he had put into it. People who knew him described someone who didn't just clock in and out of being a good person. He mentored kids in the neighborhood too, boys who didn't have a steady man around, the kind of role model that never shows up on a resume, but still shapes where a neighborhood ends up. None of that shows up on a delivery app profile though. To Domino's, he was a new hire, less than a month in, working a part-time evening shift to bring in extra money while school was out for summer. That one decision, an extra shift to get his family through the break, is what put him in that parking lot. If you've ever picked up a second job just to give your family a little breathing room, you already understand exactly why he was standing there that night. This channel exists to tell stories like his, properly, with the respect they deserve, and if that matters to you, sticking around and subscribing genuinely helps keep that kind of storytelling alive. By July 8th, Domo had been delivering for Domino's a little under a month. Just enough time to learn the routes, learn which apartment complexes were tricky to find at night. Nothing more than that. It was a Wednesday. Nothing about the shift stood out from any other. He picked up orders, made runs, came back to the store like normal. Employees inside were going through their usual closing routine, nothing suggesting this night would end differently. Then, just before 9 p.m., gunfire broke out in the parking lot. Multiple shots, fast. Domo was hit multiple times near his delivery car, in the same lot he had pulled into a dozen times that week alone. Police and EMS got there fast. It didn't matter. He was pronounced dead right there in the parking lot, in the same spot he had been parking to grab the next order. Here's the part that still doesn't sit right with people close to this case. Before any officer called his family, before anyone in uniform reached his mother or Jaira, people started finding out through social media. Posts, screenshots, secondhand messages. The worst possible way to learn someone you love is gone. Think about that for a second. Not a phone call, not an officer at the door, a screen lighting up with a stranger's post about a shooting at a Domino's, and someone recognizing the name in the comments before anyone official says a word. Family and friends rush to the scene themselves, showing up to grief and crime scene tape at the same time, with nobody from the department there yet to explain anything. As of right now, that's still where this sits. No suspect named, no motive released, nobody in custody. If that unease you're feeling right now is real, sit with it, because the honest truth is, nobody watching this knows why it happened either. Not yet. Stay with me, because how this department has handled things since matters, and it might matter more to you personally than you'd expect.
Tonight, we are learning more about a young Domino's pizza delivery worker shot and killed on the job in Normandy.
It happened last night on Natural Bridge Road near Lucas and Hunt Road in North St. Louis County. Only on 5 Inner Side tonight, Robert Townsend talks to the victim's family and a community activist concerned about the ongoing gun violence.
Family members say 28-year-old Dominique Hoskins had a heart for people.
Everyone, he stood firm in his beliefs. He did everything that he could for anyone.
They say especially for his 2-year-old son and 8-year-old daughter.
He lived for his kids, even kids that weren't his. He was everyone's superhero.
But now,
Stuff just happens in the blink of an eye.
family and friends cannot believe the man so many admired is gone. Police say shortly before 9 Wednesday night, gunshots rang out outside this Domino's Pizza. Dominique Hoskins' loved ones rushed to the scene after learning on social media the delivery driver had been shot multiple times in the parking lot and killed.
I've known him over 10 years. It goes back far. He didn't deserve that.
The family says Hoskins worked part-time this summer at Domino's. He had worked as a special education teacher at Hamilton Elementary in St. Louis, and next month was looking forward to starting a new job in the Hazelwood School District.
He was also in school, so he wanted to get his degrees to further the education, take it further.
Family members tell me Hoskins really liked working at this Domino's, and he had only been at this business for less than a month. He and Willis were also expecting their second child.
The senseless, my baby will never know. I want to know why.
We're tired of the violence. We want it to stop.
Another outcry from a community activist who's thinking about Hoskins' family as police search for his killer.
We're going to keep fighting for these criminals to stop it so everyone can live a better life in the community.
Normandy police haven't said much publicly, just that the case is active and a statement will come once there's something solid to share. No suspect description, no vehicle to look out for, no confirmed motive, robbery, dispute, or otherwise. That silence isn't unusual for a suburban department juggling a heavy caseload with limited resources, but it doesn't make it easier on the people waiting for answers. Jaira has been direct about that gap, saying investigators never reached out to her or Domo's mother, leaving the family to piece things together on their own during the hardest week of their lives. Zoom out from this one case, and a pattern shows up fast. Natural Bridge Road, near Lucas and Hunt, is a busy commercial strip, the kind with fast food, gas stations, delivery hubs, all built around drivers who show up alone and leave alone. That's exactly what makes drivers a target. Their routine is predictable. They work solo. And parking lots like this one are rarely lit or watched, the way the businesses attached to them are. Frida Davis, who works nearby, said the area's gotten unsettling enough that some businesses have started paying for private security. Even that only goes so far when the lot itself is wide open. So here's the promise from earlier, the safety tip. If you or someone you love delivers, drives rideshare, or works any job that ends with you alone in a lot once the sun's down, park under a light, back into the space so you're not boxed in. Keep your phone in hand, not your pocket. And if something about a stop feels off before you even get out of the car, trust that and leave. It sounds small. It's the difference between a normal Tuesday and becoming someone's headline. That's not fear for the sake of fear. That's just what actually helps. And it's worth subscribing for if this channel is the reason it reaches you before you needed it. Step back even further and this stops being just one man's story. A full-time special education aide had to pick up a delivery job on his summer break just to make ends meet. That's not a personal failing. That's what underfunded school systems do to the people who show up for kids every single day. When educators have to take on high-risk side work to survive, the danger doesn't stay contained to them. It reaches the classroom too. Daniel Williams, who runs a nonprofit called Breaking Generational Poverty, put it plainly. Violence like this tends to land hardest on the people actively working to pull others out of poverty. Lose someone like Domo, and you're not just losing a person, you're losing the mentor a dozen kids were counting on, which makes the same cycle he was fighting against a little harder to break for everyone he would have reached. Resident Alicia Cannell said something worth sitting with too, that real safety in a neighborhood isn't something police alone can hand you. It takes people choosing to rebuild trust and actually deal with what's underneath all of this, not just react after it happens again. Some of you watch this whole thing and you're still not going to hit subscribe. That's genuinely fine. You don't owe this channel anything. But if that's you, I'd actually like to know why. Drop it in the comments. No judgment. I read every single one. To Domo's family, to Jaira and his children, I'm sorry for what was taken from you. To everyone who made it to the end, thank you for watching, for your attention, and for joining us on this journey of reflection. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay safe. See you on our next video.